Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a general collective reading, so there are no signs attached to it. Only take it if it resonates with you within the first couple of minutes. Otherwise, just go find another video to watch. So, let's get started here. At the bottom of the deck, we have here the dog card, and I feel like this is like a 10 of cups kind of energy. It talks about like devotion and like a loyal companion. So this is sort of like the overall context. You have the 10 of cups, and then you have the undressing of the salad, and this card talks about balancing. There's been this kind of energy of like somebody perhaps like feeling like they're dropping the ball on something. With this card though, it talks about like accomplishing something that's kind of tricky, like accomplishing some sort of like tricky balance. It kind of feels like it was also today coming through with this energy of like avoiding extremes. Like there's something here about like there's like two extremes. Two extreme, perhaps like emotional states is kind of how it's coming through here, where it's like there's an energy of like, with this deck you have the Sun and the Three of Swords, which is kind of like this energy of like so much happiness here with the Sun. And then this Three of Swords from this deck specifically talks to me about like fear or like severe anxiety, in like the case where it's like it becomes almost like no movement, like you can't do anything is kind of how it's coming through, like versus the Sun, which is all of this like vitality, abundance, happiness. So maybe there's a situation here where it's like trying to balance those energies, or like there's someone here who's like perhaps like trying to avoid extreme energies, or perhaps is going through sort of like an extreme sort of like rebalancing maybe. But it's interesting though with the dog at the bottom of the deck though. I feel like it's talking about like you have a loyal companion is kind of how it's coming through, or you have this sort of like someone who's devoted to you, or like is a 10 of cups energy for you. So that's the overall context. The first couple of cards here, so we have the past lives, portal for the past lives, and the Singer of Intuition, which I love to come out together because the Singer of Intuition talks about like the Akashic records, where it's like just a database of information. In this case, it's coming through as being like all of your past lives. Because I feel like there's actually something from your past life from a past life, let's say, that's being either reawakened or brought back to you, or like you're remembering something from a past life maybe. It was kind of coming through, if you've ever watched the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a kid's show, but it's like there's this like a lot of scenes in that show where like Avatar, who's the main character, Aang I should say, can connect with all of the past avatars, right? Like and access like information that they may have, like, so it's kind of like something here about like I feel like you are getting information about perhaps something from a past life is kind of how it's coming through, where it's like but perhaps like little by little with the Singer of Intuition, like just hints of it is how it's feeling to me. But with the Knight of Voices, right, it may come like you may have been getting hints of it where it's like little by little, like perhaps just noticing things, or like synchronicities or whatever. And then with the Knight of Voices, this to me always feels like an epiphany or breakthrough moment, or like clarity about something, or like it's just feeling like an epiphany, or like a clear understanding about something, or perhaps like about a past life, or it feels kind of like a victory or a breakthrough moment. That's sort of what's coming through with these first 3 cards. But what you have beside the Knight of Voices is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Voices, which is so interesting, with all of these crows around. So it's so interesting. This morning when I took my dog out for a walk, like all of these crows were just cawing, like all of them, all of the crows that are in this area were just like all like calling to each other. And it's so there may be, especially with this 3 of Swords here, kind of like a feeling of like, is that an ominous sort of sign or synchronicity? I feel like it's not, but it may feel like that, is kind of how it's coming through with the Queen of Swords. It may feel like some sort of like energy being stirred up that maybe feels ominous, but I feel like it's more so just something like from a past life. But you have here the Sun and the Knight of Voices. This is a very positive energy, but it's kind of like a positive energy that's perhaps causing fear or it's some sort of challenge to overcome. It feels like here with the Queen of Voices, some sort of challenge. It feels kind of more like reframing a certain situation. It feels like a challenge that you have to overcome. But what you have next, though, you have here the Clover, which I love because this talks about good luck, right? Like having good luck or good fortune. I feel like it's like something's being given to you that's sort of like good luck, or like a gift of some sort it's coming through as. So it feels kind of like it would be life-changing is how it was coming through to me. Like something that's like a life-changing gift, or receiving something like that. But with the past lives, it could be something like, so I was thinking about like that could mean so many things, right? Like, and it could even be something like, it doesn't have to be like so in your face. It just it could be just like you're changing like a habit perhaps, right? That could be life changing, like changing your luck, right? Like taking something negative and making it positive is kind of how it was coming through. Like, so it could be like you're starting a new routine, or you're starting a new habit, or you're starting something new, perhaps like getting an intuition about how to change a circumstance that maybe is difficult, and it becomes something that changes your life, if that makes sense. Like but it could be something that like, because you've made a small shift, it changes the course in a way that perhaps you don't expect, or that you can't necessarily predict how it's going to change your life, but it is life-changing, if that makes sense. It's kind of like when you look back on this moment, it'll be kind of like this is the moment that your life changed, but you didn't know it yet, is kind of what's coming through with this, right? So it's small. It feels like a small shift that's going to be life-changing. You just don't know it yet, perhaps. With the He of the Fiery Sword coming out underneath that, because this one is kind of like an Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands energy combined, where it's like you have a clear direction. You're moving forward with a lot of purpose and conviction and like direction. So it's really lovely, but I feel like here with the Queen of Swords underneath this, it's kind of something like having to clear out some sort of like mental, not a blockage, but like noise, right? Like just like conflicting ideas about something, or like Something like that. This one's also looking back. So it could be like you're looking back at a past energy, and so that's kind of stirring up some weird stuff. But what you have next here, you have Portal for the Child, which I love, because you have, so you, first of all, you have like the 4 and the 5, and these are like the clover suit. I can't remember what the name is. The clovers, right? So you have 3 clovers in a row, which to me is talking about like a lot of good luck. I feel like there's a lot of like change happening. Portal for the Child, though, it's coming out here with the Soulless card and the 9 of Emotions. The 9 of Emotions, and here there's a genie lamp in the bottom, and surrounded by diamonds, right? There's all of this sort of like surrounding energy, because it's kind of like it's taking this crow energy, which feels to me like a call, like it's kind of like coming through kind of like judgment energy, like it's like a call, not in a way of like bad news or anything like that. It kind of feels, well, if it is, it's kind of like it's something that's going to shift into, to make your life better in some way, like a life-changing sort of event or incoming information that's going to make your life better. I feel like there's kind of like this energy here with these cards. Portal for the Child. This is a really playful energy. There's a lot of like sort of play, like encouraging you to see this with sort of like a childlike joy, kind of like a best case scenario kind of energy, where it's like, because I feel like there's a lot of like with the Queen of Voices here, like maybe like I want to say preconceived notions, but I don't like that phrasing. I'm not a huge fan of that phrasing. I don't know why. It just, it feels kind of just like past ideas that perhaps are just like making this situation feel more serious or more, like it's just like bogged down by a lot of noise is kind of how it's coming through. So this child energy, and with the Soulless and the 9 of Cups, I feel like this is talking about like a wish fulfillment. This is actually kind of feeling like a wish fulfillment, where it's like you're getting something, or like you're receiving something that's like actually really good and positive. With the Soulless card, it's like I feel like there's been some sort of like manifestation that's arriving, like some sort of like something coming into the physical that's arriving, that you perhaps manifested through whatever means with this 9 of Cups, right? Like a wish fulfillment. You're getting some sort of wish granted. And it's like, it's bringing in all this like childlike play and joy. It's like this is a very positive card. It talks to me about inner child as well. Where it's just like, you're just doing things that feel good to you, right? It's very playful and fun. But what's interesting is that like what came out beside this 9 of Cups, because I'm sort of seeing this as being sort of like, I often see this card as being like protecting your emotional state, or like how you feel, so that other people's energies don't necessarily affect how you're feeling. Because it's kind of like these 3 cards came out together. You have here the Queen of Emotions, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Temperance. So how I'm seeing this, and it's coming out with this Mikulamekul, which again is more of like this childlike play, right? Where it's like, it's also coming through as being a mixed blessing, where it's like perhaps there's something happening where like something is being perhaps taken away or removed, but it's in order to give you something else, is kind of how it's coming through. It's like a wish fulfillment, right? But it feels like there's something being removed like I feel like it's kind of like with the undressing in the South, there's too many things happening, or like there's too many, like with the dropping of the ball, right? It's like maybe you're dropping the ball on something, but it's kind of like because your hands are too full, right? Like your hands are too full with something, so it's kind of like you have to drop one in order to get something else that perhaps is better for you, is kind of how it's coming through. So it's a mixed blessing. Something is being dropped in order for you to gain something else. It kind of feels like here with the Queen of Emotions. So I'm seeing it as being like this is the thing that's changing. How it's coming through is kind of like, because there's a lot. It was looking to me like this, like all of the things that are on her, like the accessories, right? Like that kind of thing, where it's like there's some sort of so it could be like physical manifestation in some way, like something about like something very physical perhaps might be changing, or that is being dropped in some way, which is what's coming out here next with the Five of Pentacles, because it's kind of looking like there's something coming through here, some sort of raven's call that's like calling like this wind energy to like bring something through, or to clear out space is kind of how it's looking to me. And then at the end of this process, you have here the Temperance. So it's like the same energy here with the Queen of Cups, right? Because you can see it, like all of the shapes here are the same, but it's almost like all of the accessories are like the perhaps superficial, but I don't really like that word, like whatever. It's like there's like being almost like reduced to like the bare minimum, right? It's kind of like a like maximalist versus minimalist kind of style, that kind of thing. Like, so becoming, I'm not saying becoming a minimalist, but whatever it is that like you're going into, it's almost like fresh start, right? Like a fresh start, a fresh canvas, a fresh something. But in the process, it's like it is sort of like going through this energy of like feeling like you have lost something perhaps with the Soulless card, but it's kind of like this is for some sort of manifestation to come in, like something new. And you have here again, it does feel like a mixed blessing, but it is a blessing of some sort. The fractal tree, which talks about sort of like this new beginning that has a whole bunch of potential options, is kind of how it's coming through, or potential outcomes. But I feel like you're at the beginning of this tree where it's like you're about to start moving down some sort of new timeline or course or path, and there's like all of these options opening up to you. So it's kind of like all of these options opening up because you've let go of some sort of, I see this card as being kind of like an iceberg energy, where it's like like 90% of the iceberg is below water. So there's something here about like almost like 90% of something is going to be oh, that's a tough energy to say out loud, but it kind of feels like 90%, it's going to be cleared out in a way where it's like not necessarily removed or like lost or that kind of thing, but it's like cleaned, like you're just cleaning it out is kind of how it's feeling. Like not because it's like the actual structure of the things are the same, right? It's like clearing off the paint or clearing off the residue, or like some sort of like cleaning energy where it's like you're starting off with a fresh canvas, but it's kind of like 90% of the canvas was already filled with stuff. So like you can't add more to that, if that makes sense. So that's sort of the energy that's coming through here. Okay, and then you have next here the Guardian of the Gate, which talks about stepping into a new experience. It's kind of like it's kind of coming through as like gaining passage into some sort of new life, but through that process, right? This is sort of looking to me like the Five of Pentacles. You have to let go of something. It's like stripping away the paint. And you have here the Six of Voices, which talks about like, to me, this one always talks about like overcoming some sort of significant obstacle, like you're being carried over some sort of significant obstacle. And the Light Giver. I feel like it's like whatever it is. Okay, so it's kind of like whatever it is that you had here going on with the Queen of Cups. It's kind of like, it was like you were covering up your light in some way. Like, because it's like too much stuff here. Versus like when all of that's removed, it's like the light is free to shine, is kind of how it's coming through. And I feel like there's something here about like, there does feel like a gatekeeper kind of energy, because what's coming out next is the Bear. So how I'm seeing this is kind of just like, you know, in movies where there's like a secret, sort of like a speakeasy or like a secret club kind of energy. And this one's sort of looking to me like the one who asked for the password, right? It's like, what's the password? You have to know what the password is in order to move into this next part of your life, is kind of how this is feeling. So you have to know what the password is. I feel like you will have a bit of luck in that, or whatever it is. Because you have here the Hierophant. So again, this is kind of feeling like, especially with this energy, like an initiation process. Again, like in movies, like, you know how when you're going to enter into like a secret, now it feels like a secret society of some sort, where it's like, there's an initiation sort of rites or initiation like, ritual of some sort in order to gain access, is kind of what's coming through. But I feel like it's going to be so with the Bear card, this one talks about like strength, first of all, like having to put on sort of like a persona of strength, even when, so it is coming through with courage, right? Like being brave about it, putting on a brave face, even if that might not be how you're feeling. Because what's coming out next here is the Cross. So with the Cross and the Hierophant coming out, it does feel like a very spiritual process, right? It's kind of like a spiritual initiation process, where it's almost like here with the Queen of Emotions, like perhaps there are a lot of emotional sort of energies that are going to be stirred up in order to be cleansed or like cleaned out or cleared in some way, right? It's like clearing all of this sort of the 90% of the iceberg, right? That kind of thing. But here with this, it feels like it's some sort of enlightenment energy. So some sort of a spiritual enlightenment or awakening process is happening, is kind of how that's feeling. And then finally, which I love, you have here the Fairy that was kissed by the pixies and the Queen of Inspiration. So this one talks. So this one is very enlightened with the Queen of Inspiration. Receives a lot of information as well. Like receives a lot of downloads, has a lot of inspiration, is connected to higher wisdom and all of that. And there is coming through this energy sort of like confidence in being able to share that is kind of how it's coming through, especially with this one, because this one talks about like the love that's given is the love that is received. So it's a very reciprocal sort of like love energy that's coming through at the end of your reading, which I love. And that I feel like whatever this process is also going to have an effect of healing any sort of emotional pain is kind of how it's coming through. I feel like so it's going to be some sort of emotional healing as well. It's like, it's feeling like an opening up of your consciousness or love energy. It was also coming through as like a heart expansion as well. But it's like, it's a heart expansion that has to go through some sort of clearing out process first, right? Like clearing out all the pain, clearing out all the wounding, clearing out all the baggage, so to speak. And finally, you have here the muse of voices and the muse of inspiration, the king and the king of wands and the king of swords. So, but the muse cards in this deck to me always represent sort of like a challenge or a task that has to be accomplished with others. So there's a lot of like you coming together with others, right? Perhaps past life soulmates of some sort, where there's a lot of enlightenment happening. It's like, especially with the society or like a community where all of this love energy is shared. It feels like here with the inspiration and the voices, it's feeling like a lot of inspiring conversations as well that are very healing. Inspiring conversations that are healing is what's coming through here. So I'm going to leave the reading there. Hopefully that was helpful to you. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.